Junko and Izuru are both from the series Danganronpa, which I still have yet to know what it means. Junko created events in the series to take over the world, and Izuru is considered to be the perfect human being. So who will we find as smarter? Let's find out. The first section is spatial, and the first category is observations of materials. Junko seems to get this, as she always finds things she can use to better her goal with a slight glance, while Izuru shows some of this. It's not enough to get it for him. Junko gets this with medium difficulty. Next is observations of space. Junko gets this for similar reasons to previous category, in that she uses the space provided to create traps and scenarios for other people to overcome within a short period of time. Junko gets this with medium difficulty. Last is puzzle solving, seeing how pieces can or can't fit together, how to work with the materials within a space. Junko gets this one, as she creates and sees through all the materials and creates scenarios that best off against the intended person she's targeted. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Junko won all the categories, so she gets all the points, giving her 29 points and Izuru 0. Next is interpersonal, and the first category is understanding your own intentions. Junko gets this pretty easily, as she knew exactly what she wanted, while Izuru was never shown to have any specific intentions towards anything. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Next is understanding what you will do. Junko gets this one too, as she knows fairly well what she plans to do and the complete scope of it, while Izuru, while watching events take place, never fully committed to any actions. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. The next category is understanding your limitations. Junko seems to get this one too, as because Izuru is the perfect human, he doesn't see where he could be limited by as much compared to Junko, who used her limitations to assist her in her goals. Junko gets this with medium difficulty. Next is understanding your knowledge. Junko gets this one, as she uses her understanding of knowledge to either create ways to gather more knowledge or use it against people, while Izuru, for being a perfect human, doesn't apply his knowledge as much, and Junko even showing Izuru some of her own knowledge to him. Junko gets this with medium difficulty. Next is adaptability. Junko gets this one too, as she continues with her plans, she adapts to the circumstances and learns more about her targets and their abilities so she can overcome them. Junko gets this with hard difficulty. The last category is emotional control. Izuru gets this one, as he never flinches even in the face of something new to him, compared to Junko, who often lets out what she's thinking and what her intentions are. Izuru gets this with easy difficulty. Junko won more points, so she gets the overall points, giving her 27 points and Izuru with 5 points. Next is linguistic, and the first category is knowing what you want to be said or what needs to be said. Junko gets this one, as she uses what she needs to be said to get the job done, and later says what she wants when she knows it's too late for anyone to do anything about it. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Next is knowing the order of things to be said. Junko gets this one, as well, as she picks the correct order to describe what she wants done, which influences her targets, and because of this order of things she says allows her to get what she wants and then speak ill of her targets afterwards. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Last is knowing the order of things to be said. Junko gets this, as well, as she knows the right words to get what she wants, praising the capabilities of one student to influence him into doing as she wants. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Junko won all the points, so she gets the overall points, gaining 25 points and Izuru with a 0. Next is bodily kinesthetics. Izuru gets all these categories, as we saw how much physically faster he was in each of these categories compared to Junko, even effortlessly dodging all her attacks. Izuru gets all these with easy difficulty, giving him 15 points and Junko 0. Next is interpersonal, and the first category is understanding others' intentions. Junko takes this one, as she found out the real relationship of some of the teachers and students, while Izuru actually shows some ignorance of others. Junko takes this with medium difficulty. Next is understanding what others will do. Once again, Junko sees what others will do, while Izuru is somewhat ignorant to it, even so much as not understanding it, while Junko shows him certain things. Junko takes this with easy difficulty. Next is understanding others' limitations. This is fairly even here. Junko knows how to use what other people are limited by against them, and Izuru knows that him having the best parts of humanity to be the perfect human means that he will almost always outclass anyone he's against. However, Junko seems to use this to a better degree and is much more aware of the actual circumstances. Junko gets this with hard difficulty. Last category is understanding others' knowledge. This is similar to the last category. Both characters understand others' knowledge, but Junko being a little more detailed in it. Junko takes this with hard difficulty. Junko won all the points, so she gets the overall points, giving her 31 points, and Izuru with a 0. Next is existential. Izuru doesn't really have any philosophy, while Junko actually shows Izuru her own beliefs. Junko takes these categories with easy difficulty, which means she gets all the points, giving her 14 points, and Izuru 0. Next section is logical, and Izuru has no real showing of any logical capabilities, although it would appear like he would. However, Junko simply has more to show, so she wins every category with easy difficulty, giving her all the points, so she has 37 points and Izuru has 0. Next is musical intelligence. There's no real indicators for either of these characters for musical intelligence. However, Izuru has shown some awareness of his surroundings through sounds such as reacting to being shot at. So by default, Izuru gets these categories through easy difficulty, giving him 23 points and Junko 0. The last section is naturalist, and the first category is understanding of elements. Junko gets this 1 for 1. We don't see Izuru use this much at all, and Junko is shown to learn different information when presented with it, even seeing how she uses it to destroy the world. Junko gets this with medium difficulty. Next is understanding of how elements work together. Similar, Junko gets this 1 as she shows some understanding of how elements work together and uses it in her plans. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Last is understanding of animal nature. Junko gets this 1 as she even shows Izuru some habits of human nature that he wasn't aware of. Junko gets this with easy difficulty. Junko won every category, so she gets all the points, giving her 28 points and Izuru 0. In the end, this was another battle. It wasn't even close. Izuru just doesn't show enough things for him to properly analyze in comparison, which only got him 43 points compared to Junko, who got 189 points, meaning Junko is the winner and will be moving on to the next round. What did you think of this video and the results? Was this what you expected, or was this surprising to you? Let me know in the comments.